Hello chums, I'm Colonel Failure and this is Cities Skylines After Dark modded out the wazoo. As you can see from our progress so far, it's not been without, the occasional spot of bother. We've got some goods kind of delivery issues going on over here in Connery and again in Nicholson. Keitel, obviously, not quite keeping up with the demand. Keitel eventually will be double the size that it is now, the intention being that represents all of our kind of major industrial area, and then we'll add more should the need arise. Anyway, as promised, today I'm going to build an exciting station thing, and the observant among you may be able to spot where I'm going to do it. Yes? Okay, so let's crack on. Alright, so I have kind of a partial plan for this right now, and as is the kind of the flavour of this playthrough, of this series, I'm using modded stations to make this happen. So the station in question, here we go, where are we, is the old brick station, right? Okay, now, initially you have to place it roadside, nothing particularly radical about that, but you can add additional platforms, additional station kind of elements for your routes to come into. Now, the only thing I don't have at the moment is a full kind of plan, I guess, for where this station's going to head to. Now, if we look at the existing rail infrastructure that I've got, we have this this section here runs in and out of town, and at the moment is purely tasked with well, the only thing I've got it tasked with is goods. So we can see this fine chap coming through now with plenty of good things on board, I'm sure. Lots of things freshly imported from China. And that heads into the into the kind of the double goods station setup that we've got over here within whatever it's called. Connery? Is it Connery? It's not Connery. It's Keitel, you fool. And at the moment it leads nowhere. So so we've got you've got two stations to choose from effectively. One doesn't go anywhere. One terminates here. Hopefully over time the trains will get the idea of using that effectively. But who knows. Anyway, at the moment that doesn't go anywhere. It kind of terminates here. I'll probably lead it into a hookup with something that I have not yet decided. Maybe this track over here. This fella coming along here. Look, let's go and have a... let's see. How marvellous. But not a lot of passengers going on at the moment, and that's partly what I want to rectify. Ideally, I'd like some kind of commuter line that runs over here to Connery, stopping off in Keitel. I think that could work in my favour, but I haven't exactly left a lot of real estate for that to happen in, so there may be the need for some judicious bulldozing to take place in order for that to happen. Secondarily, I'd like to hook up with this well, as we look at it, kind of east-west line that we've got here. But I don't want to put them all on the same line. I've tried this before. You have to lay down more line than you're anticipating, purely because otherwise you end up with a massive logjam, and that's not what I've got in mind. Anyway, so as a result, I'm going to place my station facing this way, and then there'll be lots of curvature coming off in this direction. Hopefully looking halfway decent when we're done. But, we can't rule anything out at this stage, so let's just have a look. Right, let's go. What do we think? 10? Yeah, 10. So I'm just using the road here as a measuring stick. Given that stations like a bit of a snap to, I'm going to give them plenty of things to snap to, and then we'll see how we lay that out in a way that makes sense. So here we go. So here's the M1. Now the other alternative, of course, is this fine station here, Station 1. Which is, it's very attractive, and it will actually bolt onto the side of one of these, but does it mirror if I stick it over? No, it doesn't perfectly mirror. Okay, so we're going to have to put one end of it, we could put one end there, I guess. Yeah, that might work. Okay, bulldozer. Right, snap or get off trains, go to borders and get rid of that. And this one. Okie dokie. Right, so why do you not want to fit in there, my friend? What's going on? Go on, give me a clue. Height too high. Ah, that's a disappointment. We could, well, we'll go as close as we can. Right, what's that actually given us when we look at it? Yeah, no, snap off this again. Okay, right, so there's our track poking out of the end. I might have to do a little landscaping work when we're done here to make this look a little less odd. Although that said, it does look properly odd, doesn't it? Let's get it right to begin with. Let's get it right to begin with. Right, this downhill section we've got here is going to be flattened out. Assuming, of course, I don't completely hose the thing. It would be nice if it was daylight, but you can't have it all. Right, let's make a start in the dark, and then we'll advance. No. You're making a hash of that. Right, give me some daylight. Let's go. Where are we? Oh, it's only just become night. Seriously, can I not have some working lights going on here? I mean, look, the city looks fabulous. Oh, well, the moon's come up. That's a start. I can see at least what I'm doing now. Right. Down one, up one. Alright, and then if I fill all of... No, why are you digging a hole? I guess this has got multiple slopes in different directions. I could do with a Tiger Woods-esque lay of the green at this point. I can't help but think that having started with it, yeah, look at this, and that's actually quite a savage slope, isn't it? Okay, right, well, we'll roll with these punches as we go. So as I fill out the remainder of this area, and I suspect quite strongly, knowing my own predilections, that I will head towards having a kind of a minor commercial area around here, given the kind of the captive audience you end up with by major train stations in the real world. I reckon that might work. Right, let's get the old smoothotron out here and see if we can't even those edges up a touch. And with a bit of luck, the sun will come up in a sec, and we'll be able to get a feel for what this looks like. However, in the short term, we can at least make a start here. Right, where are we going? 10 and then back. In fact, I'm not entirely sure I needed that side, but we'll do both sides anyway. Right. I see, now the sun comes up. There we go. Right, let's actually pause the sucker, shall we? Alright, what have we got here? Alright, so I've built this... Well, that's flat, but we've got this enormous ditch here now, so I think, you know, I've possibly backed myself into a corner where I'm going to end up flattening all of that. Right, so, hold on. Get rid of that. Right. Speak to me, game. There we go. That's more like it. Right. Good. Okay. So, now what I'm going to do next to that is I'm going to lay enough kind of secondary platforms to make this equidistant. The good news, of course, is that this is going to make every single person who lives nearby very happy indeed. The level of service they're going to get now is tremendous. All I have to do really is ensure that my why did you just remove that? That would have been useful to keep in. If you're going for some form of symmetry, you fool. One more would have been good. No. Let's just... Oh, interesting. I didn't know that was zoom. Huh, what do you know? Z and X. Zoom. Alright, let's bang those in like that. Okay, right. Yes, now we're talking. So we're rocking, you know, all the platforms in the world here. This is a major terminus. Crumbs. I am going to have to do a little more flattening though, aren't I? Otherwise it's going to look a little bit weird. So we have the choice of, we could go like, you know, a bit of smoothery here, which makes for a nice gentle slope, but equally that's just a dip. So I'm gonna flatten this out properly. Where should we go from? Let's go from here, down one, up one. That's up more than one, isn't it? Right, there we go. No, that's... well, okay, alright. That'll flatten enough. This is not going to be inexpensive. Watch as my hard-earned million pour away here. Yes, you can... I mean, well, there you go. That road alone shows you the difference in elevation that we've got in this section of land. So if I take it to where it's almost on the flat, and then I'll just flatten that out using the smoothing tool. Right, and then over here it's actually a little taller. So there we go. There you go. See, this might yet come off. How are we doing here? How's that? All right, that might do the trick. That might do the trick. And then if we apply a liberal dose of smoothing over, you know, over a large area, then we should look more or less sensible when we're done. I'm going to remove this road in a second and sort that out as well. But, you know, this is the kind of prep work that you have to do. And the city is profitable, don't forget. So, you know, I can afford the many and varied luxuries of terraforming without running the risk of vexing my bank manager too heavily. Right, there we go. Right, and then that's left a right mess, so we're going to need to sort that out. I assure you, real actual building coming right up. Won't be a mo. Let's get this finished off. Can we not expand the radius? Well, you can expand the radius. Right, give me big radius here. Right, you know, cost is nearly no object. But, you know, if we're going to do it, let's do it so that it's mostly right. What do you think? There you go. Just a quick wiperoo around the area, and then now we're talking. Right. Okay, so let's get some track coming out of here pronto, just so we got a bit of a run, and then we'll figure out where I'm taking it after that. Okay, these first two lines, as we look at it from here, left to right, these first two, I'm going to whiz over to this side here. Do we think that works? You know, a second station kind of in this area. Well, lay the station out, and I think we'll use the Whizzy Modern station here, because this might end up providing a rather splendid commuter route. If I can avoid it, I don't want to end up going underwater. Underground even. Or underwater. Under anything. I don't want to end up with any of that. So we could go here. In fact, if we go back there, we can potentially bridge out the other side. Okie doke. Right, so... well, I think it's going to be better going from this side, isn't it? Let's have a look and see what we get just going in a straight line. Right, let's get rid of this bit of road and see what that ends up looking like. I mean, you know, the primary use you're going to get out of a rail connection is going to be of a commuter, no, a tourist style leaning. Oh, one wonders if some kind of spectacular, beautiful curving. Let's see what we can get if we go from here. That is neither spectacular nor beautiful. That is a bit weird looking. I had hoped to be able to... yeah, you see, you can get a curved bridge. Alright, well, let's take the first stage back. And this is... I'm going to do this by eye. Alright, and then wang over onto here. No wang for you. Alright, well, let's come out at 180 degrees. Let's try that once more. And if it doesn't like it... how much is it going to cost? 20,000. Alright, I'm going to lay it in just to see how weird it looks. Yeah, well, that's okay, I guess. It's a little bit abrupt as far as angles go. Then you've got this unnecessary dip. Oh, I don't like unnecessary dips. Followed by this bridge is actually quite nicely curved, and it does end up in that station quite nicely. So, if I were to just sort out the dip. Now, measuring this is going to prove a minor challenge. And, of course, it is too low for any shipping to go under. But I don't have any intentions of putting a port down here anyway, so I am happy with that. Let's take out one more pillar. And then, let's see what we can do here. So I want to come off that at about 180-ish. Right, then let's crank up the height here. In fact, no. Let's try and make landfall with some grace. There you go. That's all right. I'm going to have to remove that end part because it's doing something odd. And we've still got a little. Yeah, no, that's not a little dip. That's a ramp. Don't want it. We want it. It's tricky to get perspective on exactly where things are going. Come on, you, like that. In fact, has it done a graceful curve so far? It has done a graceful curve so far. So maybe a bit of straight here will make my life easier. Right, let's erode the rest of that misfire. Erode? Erase, I think is the word we were after. Something like that, but I don't want boxing. I don't want boxes on this bridge right now. Although it does look good. And again, we do have a ramp going on. Okay, so the shore very clearly higher than the pillars in the ocean bed. You're used to this, I'm sure. You've seen me do this before. That's not half bad. So one section of box, and we've managed to maintain the same altitude throughout. That's acceptable. Right, now let's delete this lot back again and get a better looking curve coming out of the station. Something that is not quite as aggressive as that. Let's get both in mind. So if I was to do that and then this, we end up with something that looks, in theory, pretty respectable. What have we ended up with here? So there's a slight incline because the bridge is at a lower altitude than the island it's coming over to, or the other half of the land that it's coming over to. But that's pretty respectable. I'm relatively happy with that. Now the question is, where am I going to take the rest of them? What have I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've built 7 platforms. Really? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How strange. Alright, 7 platforms it is. Well, 14 platforms in total. Okay, so we'll take the next one. There's a line over there. We'll take the other end. And the goal, of course, is to get this looking like, you know, like someone other than a blithering idiot like myself put it together with a purpose in mind. Right, something along the lines of that. Get it up to 9 meters. Is that sufficient to cross, do we think? Let's go 12, be on the safe side. And straight across-ish. Yeah, straight across. Okay, despite the fact that highway is a temporary feature at the moment, or maybe it's not. Maybe that's what it ends up looking like. I don't know. And then, what? What's your amazing feat of cunning that you've got going on here, man? Oh, let's go. Let's work your way down. Let's snap at an angle that we like the looks of. 120 is not bad. get the height down, and then see about some kind of merger. No, that's not the kind of merger I really had in mind. Oh, you see, yeah, the angle you've chosen there is a tricky one. Yeah, it really is. Okay, right, let's try and make this work in a harmonious fashion, shall we? So maybe the trick here is going to be to run that one in that kind of fashion. And then, no. Apparently saying no repeatedly is not sufficient to get this thing to comply. Alright, let's try something else here. And do not make me yearn for the track-laying beauty of the days of train fever. Right, well, you've laid in a set of points there, so let's see if we can't make that look like it's in some way intentional. Something like that might do the trick. Right, what have we done here? We've stuck a bit of a kink in the system. We've stuck quite a lot of a kink in the system. All right, I'm gonna let that junction be for the moment. I'll take a more studious look at it at a later time. But that's the out route. Now the question is, could I do something exciting on an in route to the next station? Well, yeah, obviously I can do something exciting. The question is about whether it's going to look any good. Let's take this up to 12. And again, to the edge of the highway. Go straight over the highway, please. Oh, yeah, like that would be grand. And then, what? Under? Over. It looks like over at this rate. Okay, right, well. Let's have a look here. And once we get to the stage of infilling that which has thus far been a little neglected, I wanted a curve there. See, that's quite a nice curve, but I'm still doubtful as to whether I'll get over the top without a fracas. Maybe if well, it depends. What height are we at? Hey, see, it's still, we got elevation. I'm going to have to do something else. That's a shame. That almost works. I could, of course, just change. I see. That's the smarter money, isn't it? As much as it would have been quite nice to go over the top and then loop in, I think that's complexity for the sake of it. And no engineer in their right minds would ever do such a thing. Right, there you go, and then round onto there like that. That's pretty close to authentic-ish. Nope, that's reasonable. That's okay. And then we're coming along with one that is slightly lower down, which might end up looking all right. Okay, what do we think of that? I think that's okay. So we've got one in, one out. Now there is no cross play between the two unless this works first time. Incredibly doubtful it will. Yeah, let's try from here. Go on. Do you want to just? Yeah, all right. Moving the mouse around in a radical and rapid motion is not going to make that happen any easier. Okay, right. Well, what do you think then? We don't want a single arrival. Well, it's going to come back. It's going to come in and then go back out the way it came. And if a passenger wishes, they can merely get off and change platforms. All right. Okay. Right. Well, that's acceptable. Right. There are these three in the middle. What are we thinking with these? What are we thinking with these? Okay. One out to the airport over here. Right. Okay. So that's going to be the next one. Now, obviously, I have very little idea of exactly what I'm doing airport-wise just yet. But I have picked out the location, and that's always a decent place to start. That's, again, it's a little on the aggressive side. In fact, it's a lot on the aggressive side. All of this raising of ground, I'm not sold on it. I'm not sold. I think maybe a shorter incline would look better, and it would also leave this ground less soiled. And what the heck's going? It's gone up then down because the ground's uneven, because I didn't finish off. Yeah, I didn't quite finish off leveling everything out. Right, okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to label this one. Right, that's airline. Oh, no, airport. Airport route. And then, where else do I need to go? We've got 3 left to play with. We could do a second one over that way. That will probably need shipping clearance. So I think, yeah, okay, all right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off laying these out, at least in an initial kind of capacity. Let's see if that's going to be pointing in the right direction. And actually, that will then hook up. Hopefully, I could do a combined goods and passenger station out there somewhere. Okay, so should I label? I should probably label that one as well. Whoa! Hello, caps lock. Goods. Oh, here, come on, fingers. Get the work going. Right. For some reason, they're very unhappy just being used as a label. And then with these final 2, what do we think? Just hard charge up here? Or these 2 could possibly... I could merge those 2 into one and head out in that direction. So take a kind of a straight route with a kind of a... Well, the likelihood of me being able to create a Y junction is somewhat slim, but let's see what we can... see what we can accomplish here. Well, you're not going to do it at 180 degrees, are you? Let's deactivate snap there. And go for maybe 175. 77, let's see what we get with that. Connect up without too much drama? No? What does that actually look like? Somewhat horrendous, but not immensely so. In fact, if it's going to do that, I may as well just run off in the direction I want to and then merge onto the side. So, borders are off, please. We will head up here a long way. Snap back on. Right, and then something like that. Right, and then with this last one, we will come in here like this. And then... Oh, right about there ought to do it. Okay, right. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. Now, what I'm not quite ready to do just yet is run any trains down this sucker. I want to put a little bit more thought into... I think I probably will change these ramps that I've got going on here. Just so that it looks a bit better, because it doesn't look great at the moment. But I'm quite happy with the route directions I've got going out of there. So round the outside of here, we will have a fair deal of commercial activity. I'll also probably put a bus station, because that would appear to be a very sensible thing to do, and a subway link as well. Ideally, I want this. This would be marvelous to have this as a highly active hub route for the whole city. Yeah, definitely need to do something over here because that's all a bit of a mess. So so maybe that's what I'll do next time. As much as it's not the most progression-worthy item on the agenda, I think we could end up with something that looks pretty decent. I am going to caveat this, however, because the snowbound snowplow upgrade for cities is the very next thing that's likely to happen in the calendar, and as a result, I need to unpause this for a reason I'll explain in a moment. Because if I don't, yeah, I'm going to switch to snow based, or I'm going to add the snow expansion. And all being well, I'll be able to carry on where I left off. But with mods, you're never entirely sure what the level of support's going to be like. So it could be that I run a parallel series. But the next thing coming up will be snow-based. Of that, you can rest assured. But anyway, thank you very much for watching today. See, we've got it in the sun. I mean, this is connected up. Maybe we'll get a train before we bid farewell for the day. So yeah, I mean, I definitely need to make this look less. Let's think of a suitable word. Crap. Yeah, that's what it looks. It looks crap. So I'm gonna make it so that these 3 lines here look less crap. These ones are okay, depending on the bridges, of course. The question is, ooh, yeah, that could be fun. All right, yeah, okay, I've got something fun in mind for those. Yes, right, good. Thank you very much for watching today. I have been Colonel Failure. This episode, which once, it left without so much as a by your leave. Oh, that's a downer. Oh, another train? Anyone? Any takers? There we go. Right, slow down, slow down, slow down. Train. Whoa, train, look. Yeah, so, yes. What? So what? How many passengers you got on board? None. Alright. Yeah, this is gradually becoming ever more erratic, this design series, but hopefully it's still providing some modicum of entertainment. Well, let me know in the comments. Anyway, like if you like, subscribe if you haven't. Catch you next time, and cheerio.
This